And we are live. Yes, live on a Wednesday night, late. This is like 4 hours of putting in a full-time gig tonight. Kurt Valenti, Jennifer Valenti, all in on high school sports. How are you?
Good evening.
So we got a little, you had a little school function last night. We decided instead of doing it solo, that since the audience likes to see you more, we had to do it tonight. There's Mr. Kirkpatrick. Good evening, everyone. Time for another episode of the greatest high school sports talk on earth with another live pick segment tonight. And boy, we are neck and neck in that. We'll get to that later. First off, we got a little breaking news about our all-in game day this week. You want to go over it, please?
Sure. We are very excited to be doing our fourth live pregame. We will be live at Bergen Catholic as they host St. Peter's Prep on Saturday. Game time is 2 p.m. We will go live at 1 p.m. for about 45 minutes prior to game time. So, we're going to talk to the coaches, some players prior, use it as part of the segment. So we're excited. It'll be it's a great game. Going to be a great game.
Not only players, but tonight we got a couple of the Crusader Crazies
coming on tonight. Yep, exactly. So we're covering all angles.
And again, not just any game. I mean, you're talking, number two, like the top three two of the top three teams in the state playing. There's Dr. John Kurt. I think your fandom has cursed Russell Wilson. I'm depressed watching my guy. Dr. John, I'm just in no words. I have no words right now for that, except if they're not 4-4 after the next 2 weeks, Mr. Hackett, get him out of here. But
wait,
other
Dr.
than that,
John, I have to. Since you brought it up, Dr. John, I have to blame you tonight, Dr. John, because Kurt didn't bring it up yet.
No, I wasn't gonna bring it up.
I will say Kurt is accepting some of the responsibility because he feels like he hasn't decorated the sports room as he should.
This week lights are coming on.
I'm pulling out all the stops.
Let's post it. We'll post it on All In. I'm pulling out all the stops.
Everything, all the vibes going in the right direction. So he's feeling partially responsible.
Geno Smith is out playing WrestleMania. You know what? I'm gonna listen. I'm not gonna. I can't.
Can't deny it.
How can I deny that?
Argue against it.
By the way, Irvington in a big game this week at West Orange. That'll be in our pick segment.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So what else do we have going on tonight?
So we are going to welcome Coach Roger Kotlarz from the Wayne Valley football program. He is our first guest, and as you mentioned, we'll then catch up with 3 senior students at Bergen Catholic that are part of the Crusader Crazies. I'm going to call it the Crusader Crazies Nation, kind of leading them, the student section there. So I believe Coach is in the waiting room. So
those Crazies are ready to go right now.
Oh, definitely.
They're ready to go.
I love their Twitter account.
Yeah, they're ready. They're fired up.
All right, let's get Coach Kotlarz in to join us. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How's everybody?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you hear us okay?
Loud and clear.
All right, awesome. Coach, let me formally introduce you to our audience. We are joined... Coach, am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Kotlarz?
That is correct.
Oh, great. Coach Kotlarz has been at the helm of the Wayne Valley program since the 2014 season. This season, his team is off to an 8-0 start and is competing in the Patriot White Division of the SFC. His team currently sits 6th in North Group 4 in the UPR rankings, and this season Coach Kotlarz has eclipsed the 100-win mark, including his time not only at Wayne Valley, but at Becton and Dover High Schools as well. So, Coach, congratulations on that milestone, and again, welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach, on a great start. We got a first comment from a Danny Smith tonight saying that's why he's the GOAT. So there's the first comment from Danny Smith tonight.
All right. I would say he's looking for more playing time, but he gets a ton, so... but he probably wants more touches. So.
There you go. And a Jason Vanderclock saying, "Let's go."
All right, awesome.
So, Coach, I know Coach. I go way back with Coach when I was at St. Mary's. We used to play Coach at Becton. So it's great to see you. It's great to see you again, Coach, and congratulations on a great run so far at Wayne Valley. We appreciate you coming on tonight. And I guess my first question is 8-0 this year. With some huge wins this year so far. Can you just do a quick recap of the season so far?
Sure. The season actually, it's certainly been exciting, not just with the record, but, the way we started off, we made a decision to play down in Ocean City, down at the Battle at the Beach, going against a team from South Jersey And then not only doing that, but following up the second week, we had an opportunity to play at Rutgers against Lenape Regional. So, we were excited about those opportunities, representing North Jersey, going against South Jersey, and we thought it was the perfect year to do something like that, considering that this year, for the first time, the public school championship will go down to a North versus South final. So, we said it to our kids early in the season that our plan is to start the season off against a South Jersey opponent and hopefully end the season in the same way. So, and then beyond that, we had some big matchups. I think West Essex was a team that knocked us out of the playoffs a year ago, pretty convincingly. So. That's a league matchup, and our kids were really up for that one, and we played well and got a really big win. I think that was a really important one in that it sort of, considering we were 3-7 last season and it left a sour taste in our mouth, that win kind of put last season to rest and kind of gave us the confidence to move forward and continue week by week. And, right now we sit at 8-0, which is terrific, obviously.
Comment, I'm sorry, Jen, real quick. Read a comment from Dr. John Taylor, Athletic Director at Irvington. Congrats on your season and 100 wins, Coach. Definitely a fan of yours and your program. Definitely a fan of you and your program. Good luck this weekend. And there's Coach Catrona saying Roger Dodger. So there's Coach Catrona. We'll be talking.
I was just saying it to my staff. I was looking through, the rankings and whatnot. And, there's a couple teams, ourselves included, that are doing pretty well, moving up the rankings. And, I'm actually pretty proud of it. But, Joe Catrona was a player of mine as a player in my first coaching job at Bergen Catholic. And then I was fortunate enough my first year at Beckton to hire him as my offensive coordinator. So awesome to see what Joe's doing. He's a terrific coach, great energy, and he's really revived that program. So I'm certainly proud of him. And, I got a bunch of buddies over at Westwood. They're doing really well. And, it's great to see, a few years now coaching that some of your, ex-players or former coaches are out there as head coaches having success themselves. So
absolutely.
Coach, that is so nice to hear you say. It's so funny. As we've been doing this, we feel like there's like a circle of coaches that have coached together and know each other, influenced each other. But what's really nice is, of course, I'm sure, obviously we're all competitive in nature, but everybody supports each other and is happy for them in their success. So that's really, really nice to hear and say. And I got to say also, you're raking in the comments. You might have
that's it. Coach Catrona is saying, thanks, much appreciated. I think Coach Catrona's got a big one this week too. We'll get into that tonight a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, it's great what you said, Jen. It's I think coaching is a great fraternity, as competitive as it is, and you really see this, throughout the off season, as coaches are always willing to help each other out, even when we're competitors. It's happened plenty of times. Whether I've reached out to a coach that maybe we played them and I respected their program or something that they did, and it's amazing to see how receptive coaches are to say, yeah, come on down and we'll get up on the board. And obviously the other way is, when coaches reach out to me, it's the same way. Hey, come on down and we'll talk some football. So I think that's something that may be surprising to some people, but anybody that's within the circles of coaching football knows that's exactly how it is. We're always looking to make our game better and help each other out.
That's so nice to hear. Coach, you recapped the season with Kurt. I was hoping next you could highlight some of your players that have been, having impacts for you this season.
Well, first off, we're really fortunate in that we have 28 seniors. That's the largest group we've ever had or I've ever had as a coach. So, I think that's been a really key to our success. But, the two guys that I would say right off the bat, because they're pretty prolific and dynamic, and that's our quarterback, cornerback, Alex Shepline, and our running back, Danny Smith. So I got to give him some love since he said so.
There he got what he wanted.
That's it. Coach, I'll say, and I don't know if Jen remembers this, but I remember when she was always talking about us coaching and stuff like that, and I said, I want to give you props because I would always be like a team like Becton, like every year they would just have like, working on the offense. It's like Coach Kotlarz over there and those guys, they're going to have something every week that's different. And, so I want to give you a shout out. It's just, it was awesome. Like always coaching against you because it's like, like you get something, not to put other coaches down, but then you're like, this is what they're going to do. When it was like with you guys, we were up on that board. This is what they're going to do. We think they're going to do this. So it was like, it was fun. I'll be honest. It was fun coaching against you guys.
I appreciate that. That's great to hear.
But being, I know you're always a defensive guy. I got a quick question for you. Has it changed now? Like the offenses has changed. It changed in the pro level, the college level, even into the high school level. Has it changed different, especially now, with this quarterback, whether it's the no huddles, the quarterback run game and all that kind of stuff, the RPOs. Has it changed for you, defensively, either whether it's scheme or calling in a game? Has it changed a little bit?
This is what I would say. I think the game of football is constantly evolving, and you see that chess match where suddenly the offense is doing something that's giving the defense problems in general. Something that's trendy or whatnot, and then you almost go to the drawing board. And I think the defenses catch up in the offseason, and then they start doing something that negates that. So there's this constant chess match that evolves the game back and forth, back and forth. I think the offensive changes, tend to get more press and are highlighted more. And obviously on offense, there's probably a little bit more variety that you can choose from and a little bit more creativity. But with that said, the defenses have certainly changed as well. They've also become much more dynamic. And, for ourselves, we've tweaked things and certainly evolved and changed over the years on offense. We still kind of rely on certain principles, but we're certainly different than we were 10 years ago or 15 or 5 years ago even. And the same can be said about defense. We still run some core principles that are the same that you can see if you were to bust out a Becton film from 2007 or 2008. I could still say, oh, that's that. And nowadays we call it this. But we definitely have changed, because offenses force you to change a little bit in terms of your personnel. I think that's one of the biggest changes that, and even this season for us is the amount of personnel that we use in packaging. And it's just to kind of keep up with the way offenses are. They spread you out and you have to match that. So I think that's where the biggest changes have come. Schematically, certainly some, but definitely the way that the athletes that you put out there and how you package them, I think that's certainly changed a lot.
A couple more comments. Danny Smith is saying a player can only be as good as the coach. And Dr. John is saying, Coach, just curious, do the Wayne Valley girls flag football players ever come by your practices and critique your guys on the football team? It's happening more and more every day at our practice in Irvington.
Wow, that's good. Yeah. Hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure that's coming down the pike. So.
That's great. Coach, you won a sectional title at Wayne Valley in 2019, so you know what makes up a championship team, right? I've always felt like there's kind of this recipe, you have to have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little luck, of course. But I read an article this year where you cite the chemistry that your team shares. So do you think your team has that little something special that can help them bring another title home for Wayne Valley?
Well, I certainly hope so, first off. And if there is a solid recipe, model it and let's sell it, because I think really what happens is, every team is different. And I think that's part of coaching is going through that process of trying to figure out how all those pieces complement each other and sort of tweaking things to get it just right. With that said, as far as this group, I certainly am excited. I like what I see. But time will tell, and that's coming down, right around the corner here as we get into the playoffs. But I do feel confident in our group. The 2019 team, if you would have asked me, early in the season or even late in the season going into the playoffs, I'm not so sure if I knew that was going to be a championship team, but it all fit together at the right time. We also, we got some breaks in terms of being healthy and whatnot, but I definitely see some parallels to this year's group. Is it exactly the same type of team? Not exactly, but there are definitely some parallels, and I'm hoping that'll prove to be successful.
Dr. John's also saying, if I remember right, they won a sectional title as a 6 seed in 2019. Was that correct? Were you guys a 6 seed?
We were actually the 5 seed, and we had a good season. We finished 7-2. We actually ended up the 4 seed, but the way things fell was Wayne Hills was directly behind us, and they were one of the teams that beat us that year. So we ended up flipping. So our first round was on the road, and we were able to beat Wayne Hills, and then we had to actually go to the 1 seed at Phillipsburg. So it was just an amazing ride that year. It was just an amazing journey just to do what we did in terms of going out on the road. I mean, we kind of, even on our championship rings, the kids wanted to put Road Warriors, which we did.
Oh, that's awesome.
We actually finished 9-0 on the road that year. So
wow.
Amazing.
That's crazy. All right, so getting back to you talking about the 2019 season, what's your goal for the rest of this season? And real quick, I know we don't have rankings and everything yet, but just a quick breakdown of the Group 4 bracket.
Well, my opinion on the Group 4, and again, try not to get too crazy with looking at it, but we've always, when it comes down to this final week or two, is when you start to glance at it and start to kind of look at some potential matchups and whatnot without getting too carried away with it. But my first impression on the bracket is I think there's a lot of balance, and I think there's a lot of parity, and I think there's a more than a handful of teams that I think you can make a serious case to say that team can win the whole thing. So I'd like to think that we're part of that group, certainly, and but it's going to be really exciting. I think I think one of the best things about Group 4 is I think it's depth in general, and that's traditionally been the way it's been. So obviously we got to take care of business this week, and then we'll move our attention to the bracket and the matchups and whatnot. But no, Group 4 is an outstanding bracket in the North here.
Jen, real quick, I got 2 quick. I just want to write them down so I don't forget for Coach. One, Coach, are you a fan of the new play to a quote unquote true state champion now in Jersey?
I definitely am. I think it's something that our state was headed towards for a long time. Certainly took longer than probably most people would have predicted years ago. But I think it's good for high school football. I always tell people, I'm a football coach, but at the same time, I'm also a high school football fan. And when I put on that hat and look at it as a fan, how could you not want a champion? So, I think it's the logistics that kind of got in the way. I think they put together a good plan. Obviously, you look at it at the end of the year and see if that's how you want to continue with the exact logistics on it. But I think for the most part, they did a good job of mapping it out, and I think it's going to be really exciting. Hopefully, we're going to be part of it, but I think it's going to be awesome for the state.
Coach, I wanted to follow up on that question with see if I was understanding how those seedings will proceed. So for right now, it's the North, but when they break it into North 1 and North 2, they're going to take whoever is 1 in North will be North 1, the number 2 will go to 2, and they'll kind of is
right.
that correct?
So it's a little confusing. So I'm glad you asked that, because even my assistants have asked a couple times. But I think the verbiage that they use is that North, the entire Group 4 North is sort of what they call a super section. Mm-hmm. So it's all the teams that can be eligible for North 1 and North 2 sections, mm-hmm. but it's all of them combined, and they call it a super section. And then what happens is the top 16 teams qualify for the playoff, and then the matchups are done accordingly. 1 will play 16, 8 will play 9, 2 will play 15, just like a Sweet 16 in the NCAA. But once they've made all those matchups, what they end up doing is dividing that bracket in half. One side of the bracket ends up in Section 1, and the other side of the bracket, the 1 seed is on one side of the bracket, and then the 2 seeds on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah.
So it ends up 8 and 8, and then they actually reseed it 1 through 8. But it's actually 1 versus 16, even though it says 1 versus 8.
Okay. Okay.
For how they pick what's Section 1 and Section 2, I think that's the interesting thing. It's the overall 1 seed. It's whatever their traditional section is what's determined to be. So if the overall 1 seed is traditionally from Section 2, they make that Section 2.
Okay.
But you're still considered, if you're thrown in North 1, and you win that, you're still considered a quote unquote sectional champion now?
Absolutely, and I think that's that was the most important part to it, is that they didn't want to add another round to try to win the sectional championship. They kept it traditional to the way it's always been, and then up until this year, the last few years they've had that regional championship, which is basically the two sections were playing each other. And then at the end of the day, this year will be the first year where now they take the two regional champions, the one from the north, and we'll play against the one from the south. So, for all those years, or probably since the late 90s, it was always 3 rounds. You have to win three games to win the section. That is still true. That still holds up. But now there's a 4th and 5th. You have to win a 5th game to win the whole thing.
Yeah. Jed, real quick, because I see your final. I want to jump in
Okay.
I remember, Coach, being an assistant at Ramapo in 2003. I remember we had a scout. It was a state semifinal. I'm sorry, it was a sectional semifinal game. But I remember Coach Gibbs saying, you guys better go early because it's Wayne Valley at Wayne Hills for a state semifinal. And then I'm like, oh well, how many people could be there? And we're like, oh my God, like this is crazy. Like everybody in Wayne is probably at this game. So you lived it. What would you say, Wayne Hills, Wayne Valley rivalry, real quick?
Well, it's amazing, and what I like now is I think people outside the town are really recognizing it as just one of the best rivalries in North Jersey, just in terms of the excitement behind it. And it really stems from, being that we're one district. A lot of the players, when they're younger, whether they move on to Valley or Hills, actually are teammates on the youth level at either boys club or PAL. So a lot of them, maintain those friendships. So it's unique in that you go to your own high schools, but at the end of the day, after the game, a lot of those kids are really close friends still. So it's definitely unique. It's exciting. It's an awesome game to be part of, and hope that continues for a long time.
Nice, Coach. My last question for you is, what has the atmosphere, like the buzz, been like in school and even in the community, kind of getting behind your team?
I definitely am feeling it. I think things are starting to get pretty exciting around here. Football, being a fall sport, kind of kicks off the school year to a certain degree, especially because I think we certainly played 2 games before the school year even started. Oh, just 1 second. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So we had played 2 games, if not 3, before school even started, and we got off to a good start with the 2 wins. So I think just even starting off the school year, there was some buzz and excitement, and then we got into some of our home schedule, and we always have such a great turnout with support from our student body and the community. So to win some big games, like we won our home game against West Essex, was at home. So it's just kind of been building more and more, and just across the board, I think Wayne Valley has a great sports program, not just in football, but all the sports, and we continue to have some success on all our fall sports. So I think it's just a good culture of athletics, and it's just a good vibe in the school, certainly right now.
Very nice. Before we let you go, Coach, we have a couple little rapid fire questions we wanted to go through with you.
Sure.
You want to start off, Kurt?
Yeah, very simple, Coach. Who's your favorite NFL football team?
That's a good question. I grew up a Jets fan, so I'm going to stay loyal to that. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and when I was young, I went to a couple games over at Shea. So I was always a Jets fan, so I'll stay with that answer.
Okay.
It's been hard to say that. This year so far, I can unleash that a little bit more proudly.
All right, I'm going to do another follow-up. Usually we'll do a follow-up on whether it's a coach or quarterback question, but I got one. As a Jet fan, do you think they should have, what's your feelings of, I know in the past you played in quote-unquote Giant Stadium, now it's MetLife Stadium, but as a Jet fan, would you like to see them have their own stadium, or it doesn't really matter to you if they split it with the Giants?
Yeah, you know what? I think that thought is for most New Yorkers, it's always there. Unfortunately, it's most people tend to still call it Giant Stadium or whatnot. It would be pretty spectacular to see the Jets have their own facility, but it's been this way for a long time, and I think it's worked. So who knows?
All right, Coach, my rapid fire question for you is, who is your prediction that will win the Super Bowl? Who's the Super Bowl winner?
I thought you were going to ask him who's going to win Group 4.
Well, first off, I will preface this by saying because like my family and my nieces and nephews and cousins, they're always asking me. They assume because I'm a high school football coach that I'm like this crazy NFL fan. But the reality is, when you're coaching high school football, you don't get to watch that much NFL.
Very consuming, yeah.
But so I'm not really up to speed quite as much as I'd like to be. But I got to tell you, I kind of like the Buffalo Bills. In general, I think their quarterback is a phenomenal player, and I thought last year they were a lot of fun to watch and fell just short. So I think Buffalo could certainly be in the mix, and I'm kind of proud. Actually, one of our former players from Wayne Valley is on the Buffalo Bills practice squad, and he actually stopped by a couple hours ago, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, great.
That's
That's
I'm
awesome.
going to go with the Bills. That's Ryan Vandermark, so that's a shout out to him.
There you go.
Very
Awesome.
cool. Awesome. Coach, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We know how busy you are during the season, so we want to thank you, and we want to wish you the best of luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks so much. I really appreciate being on, and hope to see you soon, okay?
Thank
Sounds
you,
good.
Coach. Good
Thanks.
luck.
All right, take care.
Okay, Coach Kotlarz from Wayne Valley. And I don't know if you even remember when I was talking to you, it was a couple years ago, and we were saying, like, it might have been like a rivalry thing, and I was just like, not even a rivalry, just like, oh, it's Becton week. Like, serious, you bring a little notebook, you're bringing two, because, and you're watching film after film after film. And we had some great battles. They got us sometimes, we got them sometimes, and, it was just, it was not a rivalry between the coaches. It's just, you're working that week.
Yeah.
You're working. So, hey, and they're off to a great start,
Oh, absolutely.
But I'll take 28 seniors. That's awesome.
Yep. Well, you know what? Sometimes that's we're talking before about the quote unquote recipe for success, and sometimes that, because he did mention in an article about this year's team about the chemistry of his kids, and I feel like that's one of those elements that sometimes and it has so many seniors. It sounds like great leadership, and those are sometimes the elements that make a big difference.
Yeah.
So best of luck to him the rest of the way.
Okay.
Our next guest is our Crusader Crazies. They are not in the waiting room just yet. So, do you want to want to bring up our standings real quick to see?
Yeah, we could bring up our
who
standings.
is where.
I mean, we won't start picks because we are going to have Mr.
Yep,
Kirkpatrick
exactly, 'cause
coming
he's
on.
going to be joining us. So we have 2 people in the waiting room, but we'll give it another second because we are expecting 3 of them.
Okay.
So, but if we just want to pull up the standings at least so we can see that. We had a little change. I don't know if Mr. Beelan is watching, but Kurt and Jen had a big week this week. I actually left my results downstairs, so I don't have them, but we're tied. We were tied last week. We went 20-3. I just want to say that we don't even pick the same team.
No.
Like, it's not like we're.
By the way,
20
there's the 3 and just an FYI.
Yep, I'm aware.
Yeah, we don't.
So So we have some differences. We don't consult either. We definitely don't consult.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is like you
it's
have.
just funny that we're tied and that we had an identical week again, but with different picks, as you see when we give our picks.
But Mr. Beelan has been caught. Mr. Beelan is now in the, what is it, the rear view mirror, along with Mr. Kirkpatrick.
It's still close. It's still very close. We had a big week last week. Anything can happen. So, but why don't we get our? So there they are. There are the standings.
Okay.
Alrighty, and let's get our.
I'm ready for the crew. We're ready for him.
Our 3 next guests in. Give them a second to get settled here. Okay. Hi guys, welcome.
How are you?
All right, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jen Valenti and Kurt Valenti, all in high school sports, and I want to officially introduce you guys to our audience. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your names, and feel free to correct me as well.
Absolutely, you guys are the crazies. If she says it wrong, I want you guys all over her
Hold me
right
accountable.
now. Right now.
All right, we are joined by 3 seniors at Bergen Catholic who head their student section known as the Crusader Crazies. They are Nick Bernick, Giacomo Dente, and Dylan Mazzola. How did I do, guys?
Perfect.
Oh my gosh, I'm impressed with myself. Well, we always talk about home field advantage, right? And a vocal student section can make that advantage even greater. So, welcome, guys. And you have.
And just so you guys know, I'm not sure if Jen said, we will be doing a live pregame. It's a 2:00 start on Saturday. Is that correct, guys?
1 o'clock.
Oh, 1 o'clock start.
Oh,
That's
okay.
2 o'clock, though. Oh, my bad. Then.
Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna be there pregame live one thing. So we will definitely see you guys. We'll grab you guys and do something with that.
Try to grab you guys live on Saturday as well, if you guys can fit it in.
But I will start. I'll start this with Nick. How did this whole? And I know it goes back some years, but as far as you guys know, how did this whole Crusader Crazy thing get started?
I would say a bunch of nut jobs just decided, it's an all boys school. It's boys being boys. So let's get together. Let's support our brothers on the field and let's see what we could do.
Any idea of when it started or when it really got big as it is now? What would you say?
I'm not sure the date that it started, but definitely in the late 19, what would you guys say? 19 what?
Probably early 2000s when
when it started getting big around 2014. They started making like the hype videos, and that's when they really started kicking off with like the body paint and all that stuff.
I gotta say, Jen loves your Twitter page. Jen's that's the best. That's the best Twitter on them.
I read your tweets out loud to him all the time, like laughing. I think they're awesome.
Yeah, it's a big part of their rivalry there.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I know it's a huge rivalry, but it's also like all in good fun, and that's part of like that high school athletic experience, So my question is for Giacomo. Giacomo, what are some of the themes you guys have had this year? And as I was kind of like going through your Twitter page, I realized it seems like you guys do it for other sports. So can you tell us about that, Giacomo?
Yeah, so we mainly stick to only like white and red. So those are like our main two colors, and we like to stay like loyal to them. But we did do a blackout this year for Bosco because we got the black jerseys. But mainly we just like match their jerseys, whatever color they're wearing, we wear.
Oh, nice. And do you guys do like the Crusader Crazies represent at other sports as well, or stick to just football?
No, we go to every sport we can. We go to hockey games, wrestling matches are big. We got a great wrestling team. Soccer games we try to show face, but sometimes it conflict with the football game. So
now, how did you guys is there a sequence of who kind of gets the leadership role for the Crusader Crazies?
Yeah, it gets passed down each year to 4 to 5 leaders, and whoever's the most dedicated shows that they'll be there and they'll show up.
Great.
No, it's awesome. I'm gonna go to Dylan on this. How important is it for the student section for you guys, the Crazies, to be loud at these games? And I'll say football, but you mentioned everybody else, and how much do those guys or whatever sport you're talking about, do they appreciate what you guys do?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. They say it themselves. They say it to us. The louder we are, the better they play. And you really see an impact if you watch the games or any sport. When we're loud, you see the impact in the field. When we go quiet, you see the game starts to go quiet. So it really does have a huge impact.
I'm always talking, I'm just going to talk on the college and professional level. And I always bust one of my friends, Sis, about home field advantage. And Penn State does the whiteout, and, Virginia Tech is jumping up and down, or Wisconsin's doing their jump around. And I just think that matters so much when it's oh, well, they got to go on the road this week. It's no big deal. Alabama goes on the road last week. You look in Tennessee, everybody's in orange. The place is going crazy. That definitely has impacts on the game. So what you guys do, I just think it's unbelievably just awesome for not just football but all the sports. I think it's unbelievable.
Thank you.
Guys, can you take me through a game day? I know you start at the tailgate and and then leading up to how you guys actually even enter the stadium. Can you just take me through that a little bit?
Yeah, so I wouldn't really consider it a game day. I'd consider it a game week. We kind of start early in the week. It starts with mainly we're just in the hallways. You'll get nudged around a little, and then as the week goes on, we'll turn to usually the day before the game, we go to all the underclassmen homerooms and we inform them of all the information when it comes to tailgate, what time the game is. And then after school ends at 2, we usually we meet at the T. It's where the hallways meet. And I would say a majority of all the students in the school, we come and we do chants there. That's where that's when I would say like it really begins when, yeah. So Jacques or Dylan, tell them about the game day then.
Real quick, Giacomo, you're getting a shout out from a Liam White, giving you a shout out.
What's up, Liam?
So when it comes to like a game day, like usually we try to sleep at Bergen. It's like for the bigger games like Joe's or Bosco, or to use that as an example, we would sleep at Bergen in the parking lot in our cars, and then around like 4, 5, 6 between those hours, we get up and the tailgate really starts. We get like grills, we'll cook food, all the kids start showing up, and then just throughout there, we just have like the original cooking food, chants, painting up, and everyone just hangs out and has a good time waiting for game day or game time.
And then
go ahead.
to add to that, sorry, well, right before we go, we do chants. Then we tell everyone to paint up, and then we usually march up Ordle Ave. That's probably my favorite part of the whole day. We lock arms, and then we march up with flags and doing chants, left, left, right, left. And then we enter the stadium, and then that's when it starts.
Now, I'm going to ask you only for our logistics, because we want to make sure we see some of your pageantry
Oh,
on there
absolutely.
on Saturday. What time do you start your, like, if the game is at 2, like, what time do you start the march to where into the
Usually
stadium?
30 minutes before.
30
So if it's
minutes
up
before.
to, then we'll start our march at 1:30.
So where will you guys be on Saturday? And we're getting set up and we're going to be live. So we want to make
We'll
sure
be at
we're
the swim club at Oradell Ave.
okay.
If you guys get there early enough, you can see what we do. Like at the tailgates, we do a lot of like crazy things. We eat
Okay.
fish, watermelon smash.
Oh, we're getting
man.
involved in this on Saturday.
Hey, man, we can get you involved.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know what, Nick, you mentioned how you like go to the underclassmen homerooms like during the week so they know. You know, and you mentioned you used the word brotherhood earlier also, and I feel like here you guys are, you're seniors now. You know, you've been freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and you're like handing these traditions down. I just think that's so great. Like, did you feel that way as like an underclassman? Like, you know, that the seniors then took you like kind of under their wing and made sure you knew what was going on and that you could be involved. Like, is that how you guys felt as underclassmen?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, my first day at Bergen, I was lost, and one of the seniors, they came up to me and they said, "Hey, do you need help?" And they actually showed me to the class I was going to.
Nice, very nice.
I'm not sure who Ian, is it Fremantle is saying, but he's saying I think he needs a haircut. So he's saying somebody needs a haircut. Kenny,
Yeah, that's something else we do. Usually on rivalry games, we shave each other's heads.
oh, I like that.
Nice.
I just got a haircut. I would trust you guys. Kenny's saying, Kenny Kirkpatrick, he's going to be on making the picks with us in a second. He's down in Maryland, and he's saying, Crusader Crazies, I have a task job for you. They said, can you bring a table? And they want you to throw me through the table.
Geez.
Why am I going to get thrown through the table? I might pick Bergen Catholic. You don't pick the people who are picking Bergen Catholic. All right, here's my last one for you guys. And again, appropriate for the audience today. No slander for St. Peter's yet on the show. But can you give us like just a preview of some chants or something we're going to hear come Saturday?
Our main chant's "Give Me a B." So it's like "Give me a B, Ergen." What's that spell? Bergen. One more time, Bergen. Let's go, Bergen. Let's go, Bergen. And then we usually do, when we do our prayer, like this one gets everyone juiced up. We do "Blessed am I right," so everyone goes pray for us, and then "Live Jesus in our hearts, we go forever." And like the whole stadium hears it, and it echoes through Oradell, and it's insane.
Anything else you guys want to just real quick what we could expect to hear on
Nick,
Saturday?
tell them about the bananas chant. Your favorite.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite. So, you'd probably expect that after a touchdown, that's when everyone gets the most hype. But I would say our "Be Bananas" chant really gets everyone riled up. That we push each other around, people are falling all over. It's great. It's "Be Bananas, be bananas, peel bananas, peel bananas," and then you say "Go Bananas," and everyone goes nuts. It's the best.
Couple comments coming in. Aiden Wallace, let's go boys. Michael Petrelli saying eat that fish. Giacomo gets me juiced. Giacomo is the most electric leader Bergen Catholic has ever had.
Also, I'm
Aiden's
excited
also
to
saying
see.
these guys are electric.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So fun. Guys, my last question for you isn't really about the Crusader Crazies, but you kind of already touched upon it a little bit. I'm going to go to each of you. I'll start with Nick, then Dylan, and then Giacomo. You can finish us off. But let's say I'm a prospective student and I'm considering going to Bergen Catholic. What would you tell me about your experience there as a student that would convince me to want to attend?
The first thing I'd say is, I'd say go look at our Twitter bio. In our Twitter, we have a quote. We say, for those who attend Bergen Catholic, no description is necessary. For those who do not, no description will suffice. And I think that sums up basically everything. And then I would say our alumni is also a huge part of Bergen. Every time I post something on my story, I'll have a senior from last year say, enjoy while it lasts. It went so quick for me, or I miss it so much. So yeah, I would say those are the two main things. And then another big part is just the culture in general. I would say I'm literally excited every single day to go to school. You walk into the school and the first thing you're greeted by is our president, Dr. Mahoney, and our dean of discipline, Mr. Coleman, and they'll all shake your hand. They'll say good morning, and then you walk into the cafeteria and you'll see all your friends, and then the school day starts. And I just think that's a good way to start the school day.
Couple more comments. Joey Marinaccio saying Bergen is beast. Dr. John athletic director at Irvington High School. The banana chant was planned. Irvington played at BC in 2018. I'm standing in the sidelines watching this and thought that student section is okay with me.
That's great.
So,
all right, Dylan, to you, if I'm a prospective student, how would you convince me to attend?
I would like touch up what Nick said about being excited to go to school. Like going into from 8th grade going to freshman year, I never thought I would look forward to like going to school the next day, and being at Bergen. That's something that I've experienced. Like I look forward to being in school the next day, and even being a freshman, like you feel so involved throughout all 4 years of high school, and the environment, like the brotherhood. Like people say it, like it really is a real thing. Like everyone has your back no matter what. Like you walk through the halls, everyone's saying hi to you. The teachers, like you have relationships with them. It's just something that like everyone should need to experience, and it's like an amazing feeling.
Nice. And how about you, Giacomo?
You should ask yourself, why not Bergen? I mean, it is the best school in New Jersey, in my opinion. The brotherhood's insane. I mean, I can look to my left and right, and I can say, like, this kid, I know him. I know this kid, and, like, I wouldn't trade that for the world. And also, like, all the kids there, they're great. Like, we do a lot of stuff together, and I just think Bergen's the best school.
You know, my favorite line in your tweets, guys, is usually like sometimes at the end you're like, "Be there or transfer." I love that.
That's it.
That's all.
Aiden is saying best decision he ever made.
Nice. And
I also wanted to add. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Our staff is also a huge part of the culture at Bergen. When, for example, we had a car wash this summer, and one of our custodians, they could have just been home and done whatever they wanted to do since they're off in the summer, but they decided to come in and help us set up to raise money for one of our trips to actually Arizona.
Nice, very nice.
Joe Marino saying best transfer decision ever. Andrew Moscow, we love Bergen. DJ Wartros, I guess it is also checking in. Real quick, I want to do 2 rapid fires with these guys, different than what we do.
Okay.
I just thought of one, okay? Hey, I know I'm just going to talk football for now, but real quick, and I know you guys do both, and you guys got to do what you got to do. But real quick, you give the order. Would you guys rather have a home game or an away game and Friday or a Saturday? Which ones do you guys prefer?
Let's go Giacomo, Dylan, and then Nick.
I mean, any day's fine with me as long as I'm supporting the boys. I mean, any day, I'll be there. But I prefer being home, run down Ordell Ave.
On a Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, obviously I like being home. It's like crazy, but as crazy as to say, being on only for the one game, Bosco, Friday night under the lights at Bosco, like it's just a different feeling. Like the electricity in the air, it's like it's just a different environment. It's like I feel like everyone's just more into it at that time.
That's a tough one. I definitely agree with what Dylan's saying, but I mean, nothing really compares to home games either. Like what Jock said, the running up Wardell Ave. So I don't know. I feel like Friday Night Lights would definitely be my choice because that's something that we only got one this year. That was for DePaul. So yeah.
Okay, a couple more comments. Andrew Moscow, family greater than school. Aiden is saying it's electric, and Zach is checking in.
All right, guys, my rapid fire for you is who would you consider the biggest Bergen Catholic rival?
Bosco.
Definitely Don Bosco.
Bosco. It's an easy one.
Is there a close? Is there any? Who's the second? Let's say that then. Anybody? Who would you say is second? If you can't say Bosco, who would the next one be?
St. George.
Joe's.
Okay,
I love the uniformness.
that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
There's no debating that.
Exactly. And your final rapid?
My final rapid is: who's your favorite NFL football team?
New York Jets.
Jets.
4-2 start right here. I'm excited for more. Hopefully make the playoffs, but we'll see.
Okay.
Seattle for me.
Seattle.
Listen, Dr. John, I got to deal with Dr. John from Irvington. I'm a diehard Bronco fan, and things are not working out right now with Russ. So I'm just going to listen. Just I'm in a bad mood with that. But am I going to? Let me ask you, in all honesty, for the next 7 years, am I going to be happy with Russ?
I mean, he has a huge contract, so I feel like he can. Like, he's a very good quarterback, so I think he can turn things around. Give him the right weapon. I mean, he has like Cortland's son, and he's good, but I feel like he needs like another DK Metcalf to really.
All right, I'll be honest. I've been depressed a little this year, so you cheered me and gave me a little hope. So
Who would have thought that the Seattle fan with Geno Smith as the starting quarterback tonight would be
Yeah.
happier than you?
I know. It's early though. It's still week 7. Week 7's coming along.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute
Thank you
pleasure
for
to
having
have
us.
you.
Thank you so much for having us.
And we will definitely be reaching out to you before Saturday, so hopefully
We'll
can
see you guys
we can
on Saturday.
hook
Do
up at
something.
some point on Saturday.
All right.
also.
Thank you.
I mean, we're gonna make our pick Saturday. We're gonna have a guest picker coming on. I mean, we're not even gonna ask you who's gonna win on Saturday. I mean, we don't want to waste the airtime on that one. So, but we will definitely see you guys on Saturday. It was great talking to you guys.
Thanks again, guys.
Thank you for having us.
so much.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Okay, so the Crusader Crazies, those guys, great guys, and I can't wait to be there and do something with
Yeah,
them
and
and see
see-
what they
yeah,
are.
absolutely
By the way,
see
I don't want
live.
to get this comment. Nick Muller, my blanking boys. I don't want, but Nick Muller's checking in. So, no, they were great. And you notice you just saw when they keep saying like the family and brotherhood
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Well, you know
where
what? And that's what that's what high school sports does.
It
It
is.
is all about, and what you love is that like the everybody is a part of that program, and that they are a family, the football team I'm sure feels like they're a family, but their whole student body is a family. Everybody's
Yep.
involved, and their athletes are so appreciative of it. It's it's great, and I just love that they get everybody involved. It's just it's nice. Create such a nice
while we bring Mr.
atmosphere.
Kirkpatrick and Dr. John, you're in a bad mood about Russ. Watching him play this year is like hearing the guest picker make predictions. It's not right and should be better.
Oh, that is
God.
funny. I'm gonna let Kenny come on in.
Okay.
Here. We don't have our guest pickers picks.
No, but
just
we'll
yet,
get
right?
it. We'll get it.
them.
I have an
So
idea of who I'm going to pick tomorrow.
Just when we give the picks, when people don't hear the guest picker, that's why. Hello, Kenny. How you doing? Greetings.
Hello, Jen. Hello, Kurt. Once again, I think I saw you 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, we saw you 10 minutes. So let me ask you this, Kenny. What do you think of the Crusader Crazies?
You gotta love it. I wish I was like that and started a Boilermaker fan club when we were in school. Even though we weren't great, it would have been nice.
These guys are great,
I should have
man.
thought of that when I was in high school. That was awesome. I would like to see them throw you through a table, though.
No.
Listen to me on that.
No.
All right, we ready for?
And don't even ask Jen. She's still got the bad shoulder.
Bad
I mean,
shoulder,
I'll be going right to the ER at Valley Hospital
We're-
over there next
we're
after
too-
dealing with her.
We're too old.
Yeah.
All right, so Kenny, we're gonna we'll start with you each one. Our first game is a Thursday night matchup. It is 4-3 Eastside at 7-1 PCTI.
It should be a good game, Jen. You know, PCTI has been my adopted team this year, but I did say East Side's the October month because they're the ghosts, right? Halloween coming up. But you know what? October may be their month, but not this week because PCTI, this is their year. I'm going to go PCTI 27-14 over East Side.
All right. I'm picking PCTI as well. Mr. Beelan is picking PCTI, and who do you have?
I really want to sing because I like singing that song, but I'm not going to sing it this week. Great game. I just think we saw PCTI live in Clifton, man. They're big, they're physical. I'm going to take PCTI. So we swept the board.
All right. Rolling into our Friday matchups, we have 4-3 Hasbrook Heights at 5-2 Waldwick.
I'll make my pick quick on this one because I like to hear what Kurt's always got to say about Heights. So I'm going to go Waldwick at home is a very tough place to win. I was with Kurt a couple of years ago when we watched Waldwick Garfield, and just as fans, you got to walk 2 miles to get to the stadium. But
yeah,
that's a tough place to win. You know, we all say Heights is a tough place. I'm going to go Waldwick 28-22 at home over Hasbrook Heights.
All right, I am picking Waldwick. Mr. Beelan is picking Waldwick. Just a reminder, the acronym last week was ABH, right?
ABH, but you know what? We saw Heights last week. They had a tough time versus Rutherford, and we'll get into that game in the NJIC semifinal. But listen, I agree. Over there, they're tough, man. Waldwick lost a tough one versus Woodridge. I think they bounced back and say it, Jen.
ABH.
ABH, baby. ABH. I'm going Waldwick.
All right, our next game is 4-3 Northern Highlands at 4-3 Wayne Hills.
Talk about a evenly matched game. This is that's an understatement here. I mean, how do you pick one here? I mean, the only way I'm gonna go Wayne Hills 23, Northern Highlands 21, and I'm gonna take the home field advantage here, and they're gonna pull away a little bit in the second half.
Okay. Mr. Beelan is choosing Wayne Hills as well. I'm going Northern Highlands in this one.
Yeah, Jen, I'm with you. Listen, I totally agree. It is extremely hard to beat Wayne Hills on a Friday night in Wayne Hills. But I'm going to go with Coach Court. I think, again, this team lost a close one to Clifton, but they, that win at Ramapo still impresses me. So I am going to take Northern Highlands with you, Jen, on this one.
All right, we have next 3-3 Tenafly at 5-2 Ramsey.
Sneaky little 3-3 team there, Tenafly, but I'm going to go with our good friends over at Ramsey, 34-13 in this one, and the Ramsey boys get back in that winning formula.
All right. Mr. Beelan agrees with you. Kenny, I agree with you as well, picking Ramsey. We'll have to check in with our friend Rezi on our Friday.
We'll check in. But you know what? Rezi just mentioned one thing last week. That's why I'm taking definitely Ramsey. Ramsey
someone
big.
Returns.
No. Someone's coming. Right. Someone returns again. I want to see this team fully healthy, but it's senior night there. Mm-hmm. It's, I think they get a very impressive win. They get back on track with Coach Bear. And I'm telling you, this team is going to make a big playoff push when healthy.
All right, our next game is 6-1 Glenrock at 6-1 Park Ridge.
I got to gain some ground on you guys, so I can't be Captain Obvious. So I'm going to take Glenrock here. Huge road win, and will be a tough out in the playoffs. Glenrock 29, Park Ridge 24.
All right. I'm picking Park Ridge. Their only blemish is that loss to Woodridge, correct? Yep. Mr. Beelan is picking Park Ridge. And who do you have there, Mr. Valenti?
I put Kenny on twice, so Kenny can't lose. I put your face there. I'm with you and Beelan. I just think, again, I think this team is one of, hey, you got Rutherford, you got Woodridge, and I think Park Ridge is right there. And I think it's going to be a good game. Kenny, you said Glenrock make a nice little playoff push, but I think, again, the quarterback use for Park Ridge, I'm going to take Park Ridge.
All right, our next matchup is 4-3 Clifton at 6-1 Union City.
I got to pick my boys at Clifton, Coach Bertola, Coach Coyne. Got to pick them. I know a couple of them over there have been getting on me.
It's Coach Giordano. You better. You're going to hear a knock in Maryland soon.
They're going to get a huge win on the road. on the roof, and I'm going to go a little high scoring here, 28-22.
Now he's
Clifton.
sucking up. He's Clifton getting points, scoring points to the offensive coordinator.
All right, Mr. Beelan is picking Union City in this one. I'm going Union City as well. I don't like to pick against our friends at Clifton, but I just think Union City's playing really well right now, and like Kenny mentioned, I think it's just a tough place to go to, and Coach Valdez, of course, does a great job as well.
Yeah, this is hard because, listen, we saw Clifton struggle versus PCTI, but they bounced right back and beat Northern Highlands last week. But on the road, in that building, Union City, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to take Union City on this. But I would not be shocked at all if Clifton won this game outright. But I'm going to take Union City for our picks.
All right, our next matchup
Sorry,
is...
Coach Bertola, Coach Coyne, Coach Giordano.
Don't forget Coach Sinkyu.
You all are going to get hunted down, and I'm off the hook this week.
We're right across the street. All right, Kenny, our next one is 5-2 Don Bosco at 2-5 Paramus Catholic.
Paramus Catholic looks like they're doing okay on offense, and that was a close game for a little while from what I seen against last week against St. Peter's. But then I looked at the score, and I was like, that's a misprint, 70 points.
Yes.
So I'm going to say this game also is going to be close in the first half. Bosco pulls away in the second half. High-scoring game, 48-21 Bosco, Kurt.
I'm going Bosco as well. I do think they're just, again, you say this all the time until somebody, beats them right now. I also think there's just a little too much turmoil at Paramus Catholic right now. So, and Mr. Beelan is picking Bosco as well. Who do you have?
Yeah, I mean, if they thought they were in turmoil today, wait until Friday. They got to deal with Bosco. I mean, I just think Bosco's going to put it on them, Kenny. They're just way too physical. And, if Paramus Catholic just thinks we're going to get this thing in a shootout, what happens when you have one team in a shootout, one team physical? It gets ugly. And I'm going to go with Bosco. I think Bosco's going to put it on them.
All right, our next matchup is 3-4 Lyndhurst at 4-3 North Arlington.
Rival games, just Battle of Ridge Road, I would say, right, Kurt?
Yeah, it is.
I'll give it to Lyndhurst on the road, 20-19 in a classic rival game, and they get the slight upset on the road.
All right, Mr. Beelan agrees with you. He's picking Lyndhurst as well. I'm going North Arlington. Again, our friends over at Lyndhurst I've had on the show many times. We saw North Arlington in the beginning of the season. They started off strong. I feel like they're, kind of bouncing back, so I'm going with North Arlington.
You know what? This is a tough game. We saw North Arlington live. Their quarterback is really good. But I got to tell you, Coach Tuero and the boys, won 3 out of 4. They lost a closer one to Woodridge. I'm going to take the upset. Lyndhurst has potential to sneak into the playoffs with a win. I believe they have a shot. So I'm going to take the upset. I'm going to go Lyndhurst gets the win at North Arlington.
I am the lone wolf on that one. Alrighty, another Friday night matchup is 7-0. It's a battle of, we're late in the season. It's a battle of 2 undefeateds here. 7-0 Caldwell at 7-0 Mountain Lakes.
Listen to your show a lot, and I know obviously how good Caldwell is, but I also know how good, from listening to your show, how good Mountain Lakes is. All good things come to an end. I'm going to go Mountain Lakes here in the upset, 34-28. I don't even want to say upset because they're both undefeated, but they're going to end Caldwell's win streak, but I will make this statement right here on the air. Caldwell back in the playoffs. Dangerous and might even take it all.
You know what? It's one of those things where you kind of, if that does happen, it's almost like, you sacrifice that loss during the season for maybe greater good, right, when the state tournament rolls around, But I think they're playing with a huge target on their back. Everybody wants to be the one to break that streak. Mountain Lakes is at home. They're also undefeated. What do they have to lose? But I'm still taking Caldwell.
And Kurt, you don't like to compare college or pros with high school programs, but Jen just nailed it. Target on their back. Alabama, target on their back. Mm-hmm. One loss, they've still got a good chance of making the playoffs. So you know what? Caldwell, if this prediction happens, Caldwell comes right back in the playoffs stronger than ever.
Okay. Beelan's pick?
Is also Caldwell.
Beelan. Yeah, and you know what? Listen, I am big on this defense, man. I always say defense wins, defense travels, and I think this defense is going to travel. I think this is going to be a very close game, but I'm still picking until somebody knocks Caldwell off. I'm taking Caldwell in a very close game.
All right, our next one is 5-2 Ridgewood at 5-2 Ramapo.
Boy, Kurt, I had this circled all year. Every Ramapo coach, past and present, had this game circled all year. You can imagine what the kids are thinking over there, right? I mean, just seeing this game on the paper here gave me chills. How can you not pick Ramapo here at home? And they're going to get this win on Drew Gibbs Field. Motion's running high. 35-23 Ramapo over Ridgewood.
Real quick, Kenny, Dr. John is saying this. How crazy is this? They're playing Ridgewood, right? On Drew Gibbs Field, right? It's named Drew Gibbs Field now. Dr. John just threw this at me. Coach Johnson is going for his 300th win.
Wow.
Who was the long assistant? Who was his long AC? They coached for years together. Coach Gibbs under Coach Johnson. Just the way things work out sometimes.
I know.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
That is
It's crazy.
Yeah, getting chills just thinking about it.
Ramapo impressed me last week, very much so. I think they had some bumps with some not being 100% healthy, but I think they've, learned to overcome them, which is big. Sometimes when you hit those injuries, different kids have to step up and they have to feel their way, and I feel like they did that, and they kind of had a breakthrough, so I'm picking Ramapo.
Okay.
So is Mr. Beelan.
Yeah, you know what? Like Jen said, last week they gutted it out. I had them versus Old Japan on the road. Hey, Grusser's out. The Prima's in. Grusser's getting healthier. We know they're going to ring, we joke around and stuff, but they're a great program, Ridgewood. They're going to run this wing tee. They embarrassed Ramapo's defense last year, I think they put up close to 50 points. Ramapo will be ready. Again, the lower the score, the better Ridgewood is. I don't know if Ridgewood can outscore Ramapo again this year on their home field. That game was in Ridgewood. This is in Ramapo. I think Ramapo beats them. And again, watch out, because here comes the Ramapo run leading into this state tournament.
All right, our next game is 0-8 Mount Olive traveling to 8-0 Wayne Valley. Kenny, who do you have?
Yeah, this looks a little lopsided, Jen. I'm going to take Wayne Valley 35-7. And they get ready for next week, Wayne Valley.
All right, I have Wayne Valley. Mr. Beelan is picking Wayne Valley. We had Coach Kotlarz on tonight.
Yeah, Coach Kotlarz, again, great coach, great program. There are 28 seniors, Kenny. 28 seniors. They're not going to lose this at home. They roll to 9-0.
All right, next we have a 7-0 Westwood team traveling to 4-3 Ridgefield Park.
Boy, Westwood looks incredible. So big win over Ramsey a couple weeks ago. You guys were live. I'm going to take Westwood here on the road, winning big, 37-17, until somebody proves to me that they can knock off Westwood. I'm going to keep picking them. So Westwood big here, 37-17.
Yeah, agree with you, Kenny. I was impressed with them. It's nice to see the teams live. I was very impressed with them as well. I'm picking Westwood, as is Mr. Beelan.
Okay, so Beelan, you.
Yep.
Cam Reddish just hit a game-tying 3, so I'm a little preoccupied there. Sorry about that. But, yeah, I'm going Westwood. Again, Kenny, you got to see Mr. Carthage, man. This quarterback, he runs, he throws, but I'm telling you, I was impressed with their defense. They fly to the ball. Coach Hard over there has got a great one. Just like you said, Kenny, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Don't go against them until you see it. I'm going Westwood, Jen.
Okay, our next game is 4-3 Del Barton at 3-4 DePaul.
Family against friends here. Last year's adopted team, so that's family against good friends of the show, DePaul. I got to go family. I'm sorry, Coach. This is one I hope you can pick both games, that there be no loser, but I'm going to take Del Barton in a defensive battle, 20-14.
Mr. Beelan agrees with you. He's going Del Barton. I'm going DePaul on this one.
Jenny Hoops, I taught you well, Jenny Hoops.
Oh,
I'm taking DePaul, the better schedule, right? Now, DePaul got a couple in a row. They got the big boys out of the way. Here they come, and they're going to get into their parochial B section. I'm taking DePaul with you, Jen.
All right, our next matchup is 4-3 Becton at 5-2 Butler.
not because they're good friends of the show. I am taking Becton here because they seem to be going on the right track with a lot of new players this year, young team. I'm going to take Becton on the road in Butler. They gain more and more confidence as playoffs approach. 22-10. I'm going to go in this one, Kurt.
Okay.
All right. Again, Mr. Beelan agrees with you, Kenny. He's picking Becton as well. It has been nice to see Becton, improve as the season has gone on. I know they have a young team and, following their journey this season. But I think that Butler is going to be victorious this weekend.
So you're
I'm
going
picking
Butler? Jen, I'm with you again,
Oh
Jen.
my God. I just spent this whole spiel before the show.
Yeah,
So we don't pick the
because
same
you know what?
team.
Listen, Becton's doing a great job. They started off slow, but like you said, Kenny, they're coming around. But I'm telling you, I saw Butler in person. Butler went toe-to-toe with Woodridge. They're a little more experienced. At home, I am going to take Butler. Sorry, to my Becton boys, but I'm going to take Becton.
All right.
I'm sorry,
really
I'm going to
gonna-
take Butler. Butler.
The
You're
bees,
really
the
going to
bees.
have a lot of knocks on the door tonight.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Next
All
one.
our neighbors.
Next one is 3-4 East Orange at 4-3 West Essex.
Simple. West Essex 31-23 over East Orange. West Essex in hoops in this one.
I'm picking West Essex as well. I think it's going to be a tough game for them, though. But I'm going with my bleeding red and black. So I'm gonna go West Essex. Mr. Beelan is picking West Orange.
Okay, Jen, I'm going with you and Kenny again.
Wow.
I'm taking the Windows
I'm surprised
95
on
at
this
home.
one.
Yeah,
I was not
you know what?
expecting
I
you to
just
pick them.
think again, I think they had a great showing against Caldwell. I think it'll be close. The home field advantage takes it. I think they slow again. If it gets into a shootout, it's East Orange. Run the ball with West Essex, play their defense. I'm going to take West Essex. Did I shock you on that one, Jen?
You did. Yes. Yep. All right. Our next matchup is 6-2 Irvington at 5-2 West Orange.
Hold on. Kenny said we might be getting all our neighbors. This is another one. If Dr. John, we go against Irvington, he might come through the screen. If I pick West Orange, I'm staying away from the screen.
I'm okay in this one. I'm going Irvington. I think they're going to bounce back nicely. Tough road test. West Orange is not going to be anything easy by any means. I'm going to go 24-21 Irvington in this one, and they get back on track heading getting closer to the playoffs.
Okay, real quick, I have to read this because Dr. John's given us a storyline, so this could impact our picks. Kenny, if you want to change. Storyline to the Irvington-West Orange game. If Irvington wins, they'll be the number 1 seed in North Group 4 playoff. West Orange head coach Darryl Grant, an Irvington graduate, and was the head coach at Irvington from 2002 to 2009. Took Irvington to their first ever sectional title game in 2006, inducted into the NJSIAA Hall of Fame in 2021, and went in as an Irvington guy.
Wow, that is always
That's
the
all-
great
that's
great
great.
backstory.
Great
Yeah.
story. I'm obviously going to, as good as that story is, I'm sticking with the Knights, Dr. John. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sticking with your Knights.
I'm gonna go Irvington as well. So is Mr. Beelan. How about you, Kurt?
Yep, I am sweeping the board with you guys. I am going to take Irvington. The last time I think I went against them, I got yelled at. And again, Kenny, you nailed it. Close game, but Irvington makes one more big athletic play in this game. They win by a touchdown.
All right, our other Friday night matchup here is 7-0 Newton traveling to 5-2 Sparta.
I'm going to call it, like I said, I got to gain ground. So this is probably a rival game, if I'm not mistaken, right? The two North Jersey, Northwest Jersey schools. I
They're
would think this
both Sussex County teams.
is Sussex counties. I would say this is a rival game.
Pretty sure Newton is also Sussex.
I'm going to go with the Spartans. I'm going to take a shot here, and it's a shot. I'm going to take Sparta 27-24 over Newton.
I feel like Sparta is one of those tricky teams.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to go there. It's hard to win. Was it last year, 2 years ago? They had a really strong team. But you know what? Newton's hard-nosed team as well. I'm going to go Newton on the road. This was a tough one for me to pick, but I'm going to stick with Newton on the road. Beelan is picking Newton. Who do you have, Kurt?
Jen, we watched them last week versus Ramsey. This team's good, man. They're no joke. I'm going to go Newton.
Alrighty. Nick brings us to our NJAC championship game. Undefeated 7-0 Woodridge.
Let's go.
versus 7-0 Rutherford. Kenny, who do you have?
I'll do mine quick because I know you guys probably definitely want to say a few things about this. I am going to go with your good friends of the show, Woodridge, 31-28. Even though I've been high on this quarterback, Woodridge, Coach Catrona's boys find that. Kurt just said it in the previous games. They make one more play. He just said it in the Irvington game. Woodridge makes one more special play, and they get this special season continuing and roll to 8-0 and become the champions.
Mr. Beelan is picking Rutherford. I'm picking Rutherford. Again, it's we heard Coach Catrona's comments about his team, and he's going to have them ready. Like, Rutherford can score. We saw them last week. I described the quarterback as just threading the needle as he passes to, it was fun to watch them play. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup because, Coach Catrona's team touts a good defense. So I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup. But I am giving the edge to Rutherford. I wish Coach Catrona, I hope that magical season continues, but I am going to pick Rutherford.
I don't know if Coach...
Kurt, can I make one more statement real quick?
Sure.
And I don't want to steal your thunder because you might be going this way too. If Rutherford scores, Woodridge has to keep Rutherford under 30. That's how they'll win the game. Over 30, I think Rutherford wins. So
okay.
I'm going to go 31-28 was my prediction on the score. So I'm going to go Woodridge in that one.
Yeah, like Jen said, we were there last week for the semifinal. First off, thank you, Rutherford Bulldogs, ABH. Thank you for that. But, they were just phenomenal. Running the ball early. The kid Weber's putting the ball right on the money. Receivers are running wide open. But games, so they're good, man. They're good. And this is a hard game. Rutherford's home. But the one thing that wins games like this is if you have a blanking defense. And two things. A defense and an attitude of, you know what? I don't care if they score 50 a game. When our defense comes in there, we're going to shut them up. We're going to shut them down. And Coach Catrona flat out said, we're the only team that can stop them. We're the only team that can beat them. And I'm going to tell you this. Defense wins championship. I don't think it can go under 30, can you? Because I don't know if Woodridge can score 30 on them. I'm saying in the 20s. But I'm telling you, it's going to come down to Rutherford's. This first two series, Rutherford's going to throw the book at them. If they stop them, Jen, let's go.
Right,
Woodridge in an upset.
Okay.
Woodridge in an upset.
Okay.
Fire it up, Kenny. Coach
All right.
Catrona, let's go.
All right, we're moving on to our Saturday slate of games. Just a few more left here. We have 3-4 St. Joe's of Montvale at 4-3 Seton Hall Prep. I took off the glasses, but I can't see.
I'll start doing my picks quick, Jen, so I know you guys are running late.
I've been doing shows for 4 hours already. We got another one to go.
Classic offense shootout, 35-31 Seton Hall Prep.
All right, I'm picking Seton Hall Prep as well. Mr. Beelan is picking Seton Hall Prep, and who do you have?
Yeah, you know what? I'm concerned with the defense at St. Joe's, man. St. Peter's, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to take Prep. Seton Hall Prep.
Okay. Alrighty, we're moving on to 3-4 Garfield at 2-4 St. Mary's. I'm sorry, I'll let you start there, Kenny. Sorry.
I'll go quick. Love both teams. Garfield, born and raised. Garfield 13, St. Mary's 12. Low scoring game. Garfield gets a little momentum and gets to 500.
Well, you know what? It's nice to see Garfield stringing together some victories. Coach Santa Croce. Same with St. Mary's. Coach Johnson there does a nice job. I'm going to pick St. Mary's in this one. Home this time. Mr. Beelan is picking Garfield. You Garfield boys, let's see if the third Garfield boy makes it 3 for 3.
The third Garfield boy is not going to take Garfield. I am going to take St. Mary's. Again, Garfield still has problems scoring, and I think St. Mary's probably better athletes in the skill positions. I'm going to take St. Mary's at home, and I want to give a shout out. I think it's something like they're doing like 90 years of St. Mary's football or sports, so they're having a big shindig over there, and I think they get the win with Coach Johnson.
Very nice. Our next matchup is 6-2 Montville at 5-3 Chatham.
Jenny Hoops, Coach DeBonta, and the Montville get the victory in this one, and we're going to get one step closer to seeing Coach Devonta through that table.
Somehow,
23-18.
Someone's getting thrown through a table at some point, whether it's
Montville is
Kurt
the
with the
official
Crusader
pick.
Crazies or Coach Devonta when they win the conference. So I'm picking Montville as well, Kenny. So is Mr. Beelan.
Yeah. What do you think? I don't want to see Coach Devonta go through the table? Absolutely. Let's go. Sweep the board, Montville.
All right, another big matchup next. Another Morris County. We have 6-1 Randolph at 6-1 Morris Knolls.
Don't let Randolph fool you with their loss last week. They're legit. I'm going to take Randolph 27 over Morris Knolls 27-21.
All right, Mr. Beelan agrees with you. He's picking Randolph.
Hold on, Jen. Give me 1 second,
Sure.
please.
Wait.
Kenny, you're going Randolph.
So is
Beelan.
Beelan.
Yep.
I believe in the UPR group rankings, they are Randolph 3 and Morris Knolls 5, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close one. I'm going home field advantage on this one with Morris Knolls.
You're going Morris Knolls.
Yep.
I want to make sure who I'm going with. Okay, yeah, I'm with you guys. Beelan, I'm with Beelan, Kenny. I'm going to go Randolph. No shame losing that game. Bounce back, win a tough one on the road. I'm going Randolph.
Alrighty, our next one is 4-3 Pope John at 5-2 Hudson Catholic.
Kurt, I say Bergen, Peters, Bosco's the SEC of college football, right?
Yep.
Well, I'm not taking anything away from Pope John and Hudson Catholic, but they're the ACC. So that being said, Pope John Clemson beats Hudson Syracuse 34-21.
Okay, so Kenny, you're going Pope
I'm
John.
going to go Pope John here.
Okay.
I'm going to
Yeah.
go Hudson Catholic in this one. So is Mr. Beelan.
Kenny, I'm with you, man. I don't go against the conference. They've played better teams. Hudson Catholic's having a nice run, but this is where, like, the physicality and the bigger team, I'm going to take Pope John.
All right, and in this last game, Kurt and I are not going to make our picks on air tonight. We will do them live on Saturday because we have our marquee matchup of the week, 5-2 St. Peter's Prep at 6-1 Bergen Catholic.
You had the Bergen County, the Crusader Crazies. What were they? The
Crusader
Crazies,
Crazies.
yep.
Crazies. You had them on. Saturday, you're all going to be at All In on High School Sports. It's going to be live at Bergen Catholic. There's going to be offense, and more offense in this game. Everybody in the world is going to take Bergen Catholic. But there's one difference in this game, and he's a good friend of the show and great student, and you work with the mother, Kurt, and that's the kicker for St. Peter's, Nico Duarte. And I'm in Maryland, so it's going to be a 5-hour drive if people want to come knock on the door and come after. St. Peter's.
Wait a minute. I'm just going to say this. You're talking about from Bergen Catholic?
Yep.
All right, we're talking Bergen Catholic here. They get right on a plane and shoot down there. They ain't traveling. They'll fly right into there.
I understand you guys are at the game. You guys may have to pick, I'm taking Peters 41-38. Nico Duarte, 2 field goals in this game makes the difference.
Okay.
Alrighty, Mr. Beelan agrees with you, Kenny. He's picking St. Peter's Prep as well. And everybody's going to have to tune in and see our picks live on Saturday for that game.
Yeah. So, by the way, Kenny, just an update. I got to say this. I hate losses, but listen, these New York Knicks battled back tonight. They are going to lose in overtime, but this team's full of hearts. They tied it. Cam Reddish. And you know what? You're playing against maybe one of the favorites to go to the West, so let's go.
All right, Kenny, thank you for joining. Excuse me. Thank you for joining us tonight, Kenny, live to get your picks in. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me. It's a long night.
That's it. All right, Mr. Kirkpatrick, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and Jen, thank you. We want to thank Coach Kotlarz, the Crusader Crazies, and we will see everybody 1 p.m. live
on Saturday
from Bergen Catholic. Have a